This is a note to myself and to the future owner of this bike. Took the forks off the RS125. These are R6 Yamaha forks. So this is not at all original. However, the previous owner or owners, I don't know. I need to replace the fork seals because they were leaking, so all I had to do was take them apart, replace the seals, done. However, when we took the forks apart here, I discovered it's not original. These are not Yamaha parts. You will notice there are two spacers here. There is an original spacer and there's an extra spacer on the top. On the other fork, it's, as far as I can tell, stock Yamaha R6. Single spacer, not this extra addition. Why do we have this non-uniformity? The reason is the springs are also different. One set has a higher spring rate, the other is progressive wound. Again, this is an Aprilia, not an R6, so I'm guessing they were wanting to soften the fork. Anyway, for future reference, the left fork, the rider's left, has two spacers on it. So if you ever have to take this apart to do maintenance, change the fluid, etc., take the caps off, the extra spacer goes on the left. The other thing that I could not figure out when I got the bike was why the fender mounts are on the inside, the nuts on the inside. That's horrible. It's really hard to get the fender on and off. What I learned in this process was that the forks are backwards. The left side fork and the right side fork are flipped for whatever reason. I believe it has to do with the front wheel, using the stock front wheel. Looks like there's a custom spacer made here. The other thing is, looking at the fork on the rider's right, that's our left, there's a protrusion on the end of the fork and a built-in spacer, essentially. It's on the outside, it's not on the inside here. The other thing is, someone put a copper insert in here to make the axle from the stock wheel, which is different, work in the Yamaha fork. The left side of the Yamaha fork has no spacer at all. Apparently, to make the Aprilia axle fit, there was some creative engineering. So, future note, when you're taking this apart and dealing with maintenance, the forks are backwards. I'll show it later, but the radial mounts for the brake caliper here, this moves them outboard a little bit further because the forks are flipped over. Instead of lining up nicely with the brake disc, it's done this way. I don't yet understand why or why not, but as this is my first go with this bike, I just wanted to make some notes. My buddy Claudio and I were talking this morning about taking things apart and then not being able to figure out how to get them back together. Video notes. Hopefully this will help in the future when doing things with the fork, because this is not a stock setup. This is not a Yamaha R6, and the Yamaha diagrams certainly don't translate to extra spacers and different parts in the bike. Anyway, future notes for a future owner. Because this bike has a single disc of prior owner cut off the other radial mount, since there's no brake caliper on this side. So yeah, we have a creatively engineered track bike.